Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let us have a quick recap of quiz on what we have learned in the previous session. So, let's have the first question. Do AWS has global infrastructure? So, do AWS has global infrastructure is the question. So, I hope you answered this question. The answer is yes. AWS has global infrastructure. AWS has multiple availability zones across globally. So now let's move to another question. In which regions AWS has infrastructure in India? So now the question is, in which region AWS has infrastructure in India? I hope you know what is infrastructure. We call data center as infrastructure, right? So in which region AWS has infrastructure in India? That means in which region AWS has data centers in India? I hope I discussed this in previous video. So now let me provide the answers as well. I hope you answered this question as well. Mumbai as well as Hyderabad. So now let's move on to another question. Question number 3. So the question is where the cloud is present. So if anybody asks you where the cloud is present, then what is your answer? Cloud is present at remote location. Where? Remote location. Okay, I hope you answered this question as well. So let's move on to next question. What is remote location called? So what is this remote location called? So what do we call this remote location? So this remote location is called cloud. I hope you answered this question as well. So let's have another question. The question is, what is there in the remote location? What is there in the remote location? I hope you answered this question as well. In the remote location, we have our data center. We have our data center that is present in the remote location. So, okay. So let's move on to next question. What is this? What does this data center has? What does this data center? What does this data center has? So now let us answer this question. What does this data center has? This data center has. Actually, this data center has. I hope you answered this question. This data center has infrastructure. What does this data center has? Infrastructure. So let's move on to another question. What does that infrastructure contain? What does that infrastructure contain? So what does that infrastructure contain? I hope you answered this question as well. So let me provide answers for that. Servers. This infrastructure contains servers, databases, storage, network, and so on, etc. So these all are present in data infrastructure. You can even say data center. So let's move on to another question. So now the question is, what is AWS? What is AWS? I hope you answered this question as well. Data center is not, AWS is nothing but it is a cloud provider, right? It is a cloud provider. Okay. What it provides, sir? It's a cloud provider. What does this provides? Which provides infrastructure as service. What does it provides? Infrastructure as a service to their clients. I hope you answered this question as well. Let us have another question. That is question number 9. So what is computing? So what is computing is a question. Now I hope you answered this question as well. Computing is nothing but processing the data. Processing the data, we call it as computing. Now let's have another question. If you are doing this computing, if you are doing this computing in remote location, if you are doing this computing in remote location, then what do we call that? What do we call that? So what do we call that? If you are doing this computing in remote location, then what do we call that? Since that remote location is nothing but cloud and we are computing in that location, so we call that as cloud computing. I hope you answered this question as well. So let's move on to another question. Now the question is, what are the different types of deployment models we have? What are the different types of deployment models we have? What are the different types of deployment models we have? We have mainly 3 types of deployment models. What are they? Public cloud. What is the second one? Private cloud. And hybrid cloud. So these are the 3 deployment models of cloud. You can say types of clouds. You can say these are also belongs to the types of clouds. Interviewers may ask you what are the deployment models, or you can say types of clouds. Types of cloud models, you can say. So if interviewer asks you any one of these, then you need to answer, then you need to provide the answer. These 3 you need to provide: public, private, and hybrid. So let's move on to next question. So what is this? What is this public cloud? What is public cloud? So what is this public cloud, sir? I hope you answered this question as well. Based from the provider's point of view, public cloud is nothing but the provider services, the provider services which are based on accessing point of view. This was defined: the provider services which are accessed by the provider services which are accessed by everyone, the provider services which are accessed by everyone, then only we can say that type of cloud as public cloud. Okay, let's have a example. So can you provide me an example for this public cloud? So now let's have an example for this. Yeah. AWS is one of the public cloud. GCP, that is the Google cloud provider. Google providing cloud, this is. And Azure, which is the cloud service which is provided by Microsoft. So that's why we called it as Microsoft Azure. So let's move on to next question. What is private cloud? So what is private cloud? So I hope you answered this question as well. So based on the accessing of the cloud, we categorize it this. The provider, the provider services which are accessed by the provider services which are accessed by within the organization members only, within the organization only, you can say within the organization only, then only we can say that type of cloud as private cloud. I hope you answered this question or else you understood what is private cloud. So now let's move on to next question, final question. What is hybrid cloud? What is hybrid cloud? So what is hybrid cloud? I hope you answered this question. It is nothing but combination of public and private cloud. Combination of both public and private cloud. What do we say? Hybrid cloud. So let's have a general question. We are going to use AWS, right? Yeah, let's have a question on it. AWS belongs to which cloud service? AWS belongs to which deployment model? So AWS belongs to which deployment model, sir? Since it is providing the services which are accessed by everyone, so which type of cloud service it is? Public cloud. So I hope you answered these questions. If not, you learned something new from this video. So I hope this video is understanding to you and it makes you somewhat fun and very easily it will provide you the knowledge as well, I think. So if you like the video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching. See you back in the next video. Until then, bye bye.